Hello and welcome. I hope you understood what I explained in my previous video. I told you that for acquiring proficiency in any language, you need to understand the sentence structure and you must master a verb. So, verb is the most essential component of any sentence. And once you understand how to use the verb properly in a sentence, then your language becomes fluent and flawless. Okay, and we talked about tenses because verb actually tells us about the time of action, and we have so many tenses in English language, and we began our discussion with the simple present tense, and I gave you a very long elaborate explanation on time, and I told you that present is difficult to define, and many times present overlaps with past and also future, and I gave you some graphical representation also. So depending upon how you look at time, it can be a short duration or it can be a longer duration also, especially the present. So present is very difficult to define, and I hope you understood the concept of present. Okay, so and I told you that simple present tense is used to talk about habitual actions or universal truths, things that you do daily or regularly are explained with the help of simple present tense. Okay, and this is where I stopped, and I told you that a verb has to take care of few other things. Let us see what they are. These are the examples I gave you in my previous video. Subject and verb agreement. Verb talks about the action related to subject, and the verb has to agree with the subject. What is this agreement? So it has to agree with the subject in person, number and gender. So we have come across three new words: person, number and gender. Let me explain this one by one. What is person in the language of grammar? So in grammar, whether it is a text or speech, somebody must have written that, somebody must be speaking that. So whoever is speaking becomes the first person. For example, in this video, I am the first person because I am speaking. Okay, and whoever is being addressed becomes the second person. So you, the student, is second person here in this scenario. So I am the first person and you are the second person. And what about third person? Third person means, suppose I am referring to somebody, I am talking to you about some other person other than you and me, then that person becomes third person. There is no fourth person because any person other than you and me becomes third person. Okay, what is number? So again, the person can be a singular or plural. In English and many other languages, we have two numbers, singular and plural. You are already familiar what is singular, what is plural. If it is only one thing, we call it as singular. Many things, 2, 3 or more, we call it as plural. So person can be singular or plural. When I say I, so I am referring to only one person, myself. So it is singular, first person singular. But when I say we means myself and maybe some other people who are part of a particular group. For example, we the teachers of Annapurna. So here I am referring not just to myself but to other people, and I am using the word we. That means first person plural, many people, and I am representing them. As a speaker, I am representing many people. I am talking on their behalf. So that becomes first person plural. I is first person singular, we is first person plural. Okay, now let us come to second person, you. So in English we have only one word for singular as well as plural. So when I say you, either I am referring to one person, that is only you who is listening to this video, or I may be referring to many people, to all the people who are watching this video right now. So you is a single word that can be used with, that is in fact used with both singular and plural forms of second person. Okay, and then third person. So third person means it can be anybody. For example, as I said, Prime Minister of India, Rama, Raju, Sita, anything can be third person. A person about whom we are talking. And third person can also be singular or plural. So when we use plural, we say they, those, these. All these words can be used to describe third person plural. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you so far. So subject can be singular or plural. Subject can be in first person, second person, or third person. And subject can be masculine, feminine, or neutral. In English, we have three genders: masculine, feminine, and neutral. Masculine means male, a man, a boy. Okay, and feminine means female, a woman, a girl. Okay, and neutral means something which has no life. For example, a pen, a book. Fortunately, in English language, you don't have to bother about the gender when you're talking about verb. In English language, the verb doesn't change its form for gender. It changes its form for person and number, but gender doesn't affect the form of the verb. So is this all confusing to you? Don't worry. The moment you see the examples, everything will be clear to you. Okay? And so English verbs do not change their form for gender. And luckily, in English language, the verb, especially for simple present tense, in English language, for simple present tense, the verb changes its form only for third person singular. All verbs except the verbs be and have. We have so many verbs, not only in English language, in every language there are lots of verbs. Some verbs are very, very essential, very, very important. So there are two verbs in English language, be and have. You are already familiar with the use of these verbs. With the exception of these two verbs, every other verb has a very simple structure when it comes to simple present tense. Okay? So first we discuss these two verbs, be and have, then we'll focus on the remaining verbs. Okay? And before we go into this, let me give some examples from Telugu language. Okay? So that you will appreciate that English is a very easy language compared to Telugu when it comes to conjugation of verbs. Let us say, let us take one simple action. Nenu వస్తున్నాను, మేము వస్తున్నాము, నీవు వస్తున్నావు, మీరు వస్తున్నారు, అతడు వస్తున్నాడు, ఆమె వస్తున్నది, వారు వస్తున్నారు. So look at the way the word, the verb వస్తున్నాడు has changed. So నేను వస్తున్నాను, the ending is ను. మీరు వస్తున్నారు, మేము వస్తున్నాము. So depending upon the person and number and even gender, the ending is changing. We have almost like half a dozen different forms. But in English, luckily, there is only one variation, that for third person singular, and for all other forms verb does not change. Okay, but for be and have we have exceptions, we have separate rules, and fortunately I don't have to tell you these rules because you are already familiar with these two verbs, be and have. So let us look at the verb be. So be is the most important verb in English language, and it tells us about the state of being or existence of the subject. Okay, and in fact you all know how to use this this verb be. Look at this. I am a teacher. So in this, the verb be becomes am. I am a teacher. So this is first person singular. But if I replace first person with, if I replace the first person I with we as I told you is first person plural. So it becomes are, we are very happy. Again, it is a state. Okay. Let us look at the next thing. You are a student. You are a student. So in this, you is second person. Now here I used it in the singular form. How do you know it is singular? Because I used a student. It cannot be plural. A student is singular. So you are a student is second person singular. And for plural, you are children. You are children. So here this is plural. So we know that I am referring to second person plural. But fortunately the verb is same. For singular as well as plural, the verb has the same form are. Okay. Next. Mr. Narendra Modi is our Prime Minister. So I am talking not about you. I am not talking about me. I am talking about a third person. I am talking about Mr. Narendra Modi. So this is third person singular. Okay. Similarly, PV Sindhu is a badminton player. This is third person again singular. Okay. And in the first case we have masculine gender, second case we have feminine gender, but there is no change in the verb. In English language, verb does not change in respect of gender. Many languages like Hindi and French or Telugu, they have verb that changes its form depending upon the gender also. Okay. And finally, third person plural. Japanese are hardworking people. Here I am referring to so many people. Again, they are not us, they are not you. I am referring to third person many people. Okay. So many people. So that is third person plural. They are villagers. Again, this is also third person plural. And in this case we have are. So for first person, for third person singular it is, third person plural it is are. Okay. So, shall we go back to the verb one more time? So this is what I told you. The verb be has various forms depending upon the subject. For singular, first person singular, it is am. I am a teacher. I am a student. Okay. And for first person plural, we are. Now you don't have to by heart these. You're already familiar with all these forms. You never say I are, or you never say we am. Somehow we learnt these forms so well that, in fact, you'll be wondering why I'm taking so much time to explain this. No need, in fact, right? So that is about the be forms. That is about the verb be. Be is a very important verb. We use it so commonly in English language. So whenever I want to talk about myself, I'm a student, I'm a teacher, okay, I am from Mandapeta, like this, whenever you're talking about yourself or about somebody, we use this be form. Okay. So second important verb is have. Again, this is familiar to you, although sometimes you make mistakes. You rarely make any mistake with the verb be. So I rarely see somebody using the wrong form of be in simple present tense. But have, some people make mistake with the verb have. Let us see. Have means to possess something. Okay. I have a nice bicycle. That is first person singular. We have a big playground in our school. That is first person plural. You have a nice smile. This is second person singular. And you all have a bright future. Second person plural. Chomsky has a very good knowledge of grammar. Chomsky is a person other than you and me. So Chomsky is third person, and because it refers to one person, it is third person singular. He has fever or she has fever. So So this is also third person singular. They have no interest in studies. This is third person plural. Okay. I hope you don't have any confusion in respect of first person, second person and third person. First person means the speaker, second person means the person whom he is addressing, and third person is a person other than the first one and the second one. Anyone, in fact, anybody other than the first person and second person comes under third person. And first person, second person, third person can all be either singular or plural. I am not talking much about gender because English language doesn't have any concern with gender in respect of verb. Okay. In some places, yes, gender plays a role that we'll talk about later. Okay. So now how many forms do you have for the verb have? Go back. For first person singular and plural, it is have only. Second person singular and plural, have only. And third person plural also have. Only for third person singular, the verb changes into has. This you should remember. So suppose you want to talk about some other person other than you, the speaker, or the person you are talking to, then you should not use the verb have. You should use the verb has. He has a nice pen. He has a cricket bat. He has a nice bicycle. Don't say he have. That is incorrect. So you can do a little practice. It can be for he or she or even another person. For example, my friend has. My friend has a nice video game. Okay. Ramu has lot of interest in studies. Okay. Like this, you can use the verb have. And for all other cases, it is only have. First person, second person, singular or plural, it is only have. And for third person plural, it is only have. So you should pay attention only for third person singular. So when the subject is he or she or the name of another person or reference made to some person like my friend, your brother, his sister, then you should use has. You should not use have. So these are two very, very important verbs. Generally people use these correctly. Maybe they make some mistakes with third person singular of the verb have, but otherwise most of you generally use these two verbs comfortably. And these are very, very important. These two verbs are very important. And let me tell you something interesting. Sometimes you can use be or sometimes you can use have. For example, he is honest. I have a sentence like he is honest. We are talking about the state or the condition of one person. You can express the same idea using have also. You can say he has honesty. He has honesty. Both convey the same thing. In the first thing, you are using the be form. He is honest. In the second sentence, you say he has honesty. So which one do you prefer? So something when there is something that is inseparable from you, use the form be form. Use the be form. And if it is something that is slightly apart from you, then use have. So which one do you prefer? To be something or to have something? So what is the difference? Do you understand my question? I am not talking about grammar. I am talking about to be or to have. Which one do you prefer most? I prefer to be. To be means it is about yourself. It is not about what you have. It is about you. So when you are studying, actually it becomes part of your existence, your identity. So when you study so much, when you learn so many things, then you become somebody. Become. Okay, you become somebody. Or suppose you are making lot of money, you are earning so many things. Those are not part of you. Those are your possessions. So we say you have a lot of money. Okay, you have this, you have that. But be is something very intimate. Be is something that is part of yourself. Okay, so you can write a few sentences about yourself, like I am a student, I am a good student, I am ambitious, I am honest, I am hardworking. So all these things you can write down about yourself. Those are things that define your identity. Okay, is that clear? So I introduced two verbs. In fact, I did not introduce. In fact, I just revised two verbs that you already know: be and have. Okay, and don't mess up again when you are using them in simple present tense in active voice form. I'll tell you more about active and passive voice forms later. So when you are using this, do not add anything. Simply use that be form and whatever you want to add. Okay, don't add any other verbs. Then for all other verbs the rule is very simple. So for first person singular, look at this. This verb is play. The verb I am talking about is play. So how do you conjugate play in simple present tense? I play cricket, we play cricket, you play cricket, Virat Kohli plays cricket, Mithali plays cricket, and they play cricket. Look at this. I chose a simple verb play. So for first person singular it is play, first person plural again play, no change. Second person whether it is singular or plural again play only. And for third person Virat Kohli is somebody other than you and me, so we use plays. We suffix an s. Mithali, you know, Mithali Raj is a women cricketer. Mithali plays cricket. So for third person singular, whether it is masculine or feminine or even neutral, so the verb takes an s along with it. And finally third person plural play. So when you are using any verb in simple present tense form, just make sure that the subject is not a third person singular. In case you are referring to a third person singular, then please add this yes. Many people forget to add this. They say Virat Kohli play cricket. That is not correct. Virat Kohli plays cricket. My friend likes badminton. She runs very well. He sings very well. So in all these cases I am attaching an s. I am suffixing an s to the verb because in all these cases the subject is a third person singular. But when I say they, that means third person plural, I should not add this s. They play very well. They sing well. Don't say they sings. That is not correct. Only for third person singular, this suffix this s. For all other cases, don't disturb the verb. It is the form that you have learned, use it as it is, and only third person singular, pay attention. And remember, this rule is only for simple present tense. For other tenses, luckily, we don't have even this variation. If you take remaining tenses, you don't have to even bother about this. Okay? The form is same for all kinds of subjects, singular, plural, first person, second person, third person. The form is just the same. So I hope now the rule is very clear to you. For all verbs other than be and have, you suffix an s if the subject is third person singular. Some examples are Rama, Krishna, Ramesh, Sita, he, she, it, my friend, his father, her sister. All these are third person singulars, and only in such cases you suffix an s to the verb. Okay, so it's very simple in spoken, especially spoken form. In written form, sometimes the spelling changes a little. Sometimes we use not just s. In the previous examples, I simply attach this. Look at this. Play, plays. Run, runs. Eat, eats. sing, sings. But for certain verbs like go, irregular verbs actually, not all verbs, we add not directly s but es. Catch, catches. Then match, matches. Then like this, there are certain exceptions. I don't want to talk about them. You will discover them anyway. Okay. But in spoken form, there is absolutely nothing to worry about. Simply attach an s to the verb v1, the v1 form of the verb when the subject is a third person singular. For everything else, don't change the form of the verb. Some people unnecessarily attach this s. I belongs to Mandapeta is not correct because it is first person singular. So you should say I belong to Mandapeta. We belong to Mandapeta. You belong to Mandapeta. He belongs to Mandapeta. She belongs to Mandapeta. Okay? So only for third person singular, that too in simple present tense. In other tenses again, we don't have to bother about the number or gender or the person of the subject. In other cases, it is so simple. It doesn't change at all. Only for third person singular in simple present tense form, we suffix ns.